Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and happy Friday. We got Nathan here with me today, and we got Andrew the beer. What's up, man?
What up, boys?
What up? What's
Andrew, the
happening?
former bear.
Well, I mean, now we'll see today. A little mixture of both, I would say.
He's been rehabilitated and released back into the wild as a proper bull.
Well,
Look how more complex. Look how more complex these graphs are compared to me and Nathan going through this on Tuesdays.
We've got like the coin market cap charts up.
Damn. Sam, sorry, boys. Hope these lines don't get too confusing. It is starting to get a little bit freaking congested here, but yeah, I mean, last week we did talk about, I was turning bullish again. I was like, yo, we get this, double bottom breakout on the daily on ETH. We should see a bit of an alt rally. And so we finally did get the breakout, which was a very nice positive move. So, the environment, the energy, everybody was kind of loading up on the buys again and stuff. But now we're actually right into resistance, right? So, when you look at Bitcoin, we finally broke out of this little small range here. It's kind of like a inverse head and shoulder right here, right? So nice little breakout. But the problem is we got stomped right at a short reload zone. So these short reload zones start from 0.618 to 0.786. And it's essentially just measuring the range from this top here and then this low here. And we're just seeing okay, what's the realistic zone for resistance, right? Based on this current range. And generally when you see those, markets kind of pause. Same thing if we're looking at the reload zone for the buy side. As you can see, we came pretty close to it and then just kind of bounced right out. So right now, market's kind of obviously taking a bit of a pause, which is normal. After a big move like this, it is normal to see a little bit of a pullback. And then, if we do get a pullback, hopefully we just kind of get a nice little correction and we can start forming another set of structure. I do not actually want it to see it fall down all the way to 86K, but that is where the 38.2 first stop supports would lie. And it's kind of where the original breakout level is from. So I wouldn't be surprised if price does have to slowly make its way back down here to just do a little retest. Or if we're lucky, we just kind of consolidate and do a nice little small breakout there. But we'll see. When I look on the 4 hour, we do have some double tops working right now. We got a double pop right there. And then we're also kind of forming perhaps another larger double top. These are not kind of the patterns you want to see when you want to, get a nice bullish run. But like I said, it is normal to see a bit of a correction. And we are still pretty early to the day here. So, markets could still rally. But when I look at the momentum stuff, we do see some bearish breakdowns here right now. We are overbought. We do have some bearish divergences. And then, we are pretty close to, location for short. So I'm not too surprised that we are starting to get a little bit of a breakdown here. My hope is just that we don't break too far down and we just kind of consolidate, maybe wash up that tail there. If you look on the CME chart, there is a gap or actually around 91, 92K. So I do feel like the market is kind of gravitating towards this liquidity pool. Gaps obviously like to be filled. So I do feel like they are trying to move the gap. And then maybe after we get that filling, we can start consolidating again. Because ideally, we don't want to break too far down,
But overall, question on Andrew, what's the CME gap for listeners that are not familiar or don't know what it means?
Yeah, so pretty much what happened was, the market's closed and then the next day opens. And then this essentially is just like a gap within the chart because the price opens up much higher than where it was previously. And then it essentially leaves this little bit of a liquidity pocket. And it's just unfinished business is what you got to think of it as. And generally you only get these just because the CME chart is a futures chart, there is closing hours. Crypto is 24/7. And so when the next day the market opens, If the price is much higher than where those prices were last closed at, then there's usually a bit of a gap left. And then these gaps tend to usually get filled. There's usually about like a 90% chance of like gaps getting filled. And it's just a matter of time. Overall, though, looking still very bullish. We still have these buy signals on the hash ribbon signals. We talked about how these takes a few weeks to kind of launch off. And we finally kind of got that big pop off that we were kind of hoping for with these signals there. So, yeah, I mean, we still have the same signals. It's still looking very good, even on just the central exchanges. So, like I said, I probably have to fill that gap there on 92, which is that little bit of that liquidity tail there left behind. Looking at Ethereum, same thing. Ethereum came right into the reload zone, right on the dot, and just kind of got smoked. Ethereum, we are starting to get double tops on the 4-hour as well. So it's very similar to Bitcoin. These pretty much move hand in hand. But again, I'm not too concerned. I think it's just a normal correction. Nice little pullback based off of this massive big move. And so if we do come back and retest the first stop supports, which is the 38.2s, it is right against this previous breakout level. So I do see this being quite a confluence for the prices to come back down if we need to, and then hopefully we can just start forming some W's. Ideally, we just kind of form W's here. But yeah, I mean, overall, like on the dailies, like momentum doesn't look too bad. Like there's no like signs of divs or anything quite yet. On Bitcoin, we are slowly getting overbought. So, price do need to just kind of like relax a little bit. But on Ethereum, there's still quite a bit of room for, more buying signals. But overall, like oh yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, I mean, to be expected. We just pumped over $20,000 in under 2 weeks, from the lows in the 74 up to 95,000. So having a bit of a pullback here, you can't be that hot for forever. Makes perfect sense.
No, exactly. If anything, it's healthy for markets to chill out, rebase, consolidate, and then continue on. So, I think that's what we're just seeing. It's just like the swing trades are starting to come back in now on like lower time frame stuff. But we'll see. We'll see. I do feel like those gaps do need to be filled, and I do feel like the market's slowly chugging to try to fill that. Because even on the equities, like the equity markets had something similar as well. Like they're leaving a lot of these little gaps behind and stuff. But we'll see. I mean, equities look really strong too. Equities starting to get these daily W's, right? Double bottoms are kind of like the bullish patterns that we always like to hunt, especially on a daily chart. It's always nice to see, especially if you can get it within these reload zones. So as we get closer and closer to confirming these, obviously that signals quite a strong bullish trend pattern. And then if equities are hot, then crypto should remain hot as well. So that's kind of like my logic with that. And then I guess looking at crypto dominance stuff, crypto index, alt indexes are looking decent. I mean, they are starting to slowly break down here as like Bitcoin is also kind of falling off. So hopefully these don't fall too hard and make any new lows. We do have double bottoms working right now, so obviously that looks good. If we look across the alt boards, a lot of nice little bottoms came in, right? Double bottoms are what we always talk about. You buy the W's and then off you go. So a lot of stuff does look pretty decent still. I think on this pullback, this is probably the time you want to look for names that you've missed the entries on or names that you want to accumulate. And then just look for those retags of the original breakouts and stuff. And you can do like simple reload zones and stuff of like, stuff that's broken out. And then just hunt those RLZs, like for example, you buy the double bottoms, say you missed a double bottom, then you just do a nice little cute reload zone. So that way you're not chasing anything, and then you can just kind of hunt back in value. So, if you look back down here, you can see where value is. It's right back down here in the reload zone. And wouldn't you know, it's actually right where that original breakout was again. So that's kind of how you want to be hunting these. Obviously, don't chase any of these stuff once they've already popped. just wait for the pullback, and then you can try to hunt them again. But overall, I'm actually leaning quite bullish still. Short-term wise, maybe things are pulling back. That's fine. But on the long term of things, I am still quite bullish.
It's really lining up with that chart you showed us a couple weeks ago that I look forward starting in January and predict kind of the market for the year. Yeah, I remember you were showing us that it looked like we might have a little dip at the beginning of May and then up throughout the summer.
The seasonality stuff.
Let
me show you this seasonality chart here. So
Andrew's favorite graph.
Yeah, so this is the tech sector. So I know we talked about the Jan barometer stuff as well. But if you look at the tech sector as well,
this is your Bible. This is your Bible.
I mean, it's a decent guideline. I mean, this is like past 20 years of average of like how markets move generally. As you can see in the last 20 years, markets are always up. But within months, right, there's always a bit of a like trend in price. So like, as you can see, this last week of April, we were expecting quite a bit of a pump into May. And so I think that's what we're getting right now. The bottom of the spring here. Then you come into May, you get the sell in May, walk away kind of idea in the first 2 weeks. FOMC is on the 8th of May, so probably going to have to nuke into that event. And then we finally bottom out closer to late May. And then we get the summer blow off. And Jan barometer is kind of similar too. We are expecting a bit of that summer rally. Bottom coming in, mid-May, June perhaps, and then into the fall. So overall, pretty bullish. And I'm pretty long right now. I'm pretty much like all in right now. I'm carrying quite a bit of holds and stuff, and it's looking good right now. So
you're not bearish anymore.
Short term a little bit, but long term barrel bullish.
All right, we have to come up with a different name for you then.
Yes.
All right, I think that's very good. Nathan, what's up on let me remove you from here. There we go.
Yeah, lots of bullish news. I mean, we've been looking at bullish news in the crypto markets for quite a few weeks now. Actually, really hasn't stopped since November of last year, just in terms of bullish news stories. The price, on the other hand, has not always coincided with the news. But this week, as we talked about a bit on Tuesday, finally getting a reversal on that. We're seeing not only the bullish news, but the markets responding in a positive manner as well. One very bullish thing we saw earlier this week, the total market cap of crypto globally back above 3 trillion. I think the all-time high was somewhere, October, November last year when it was, 3.2 or 3.3. So when Bitcoin was getting up there, making new all-time highs around the election or shortly after the election. So approaching all-time highs on the crypto market cap again, obviously never a bad sign there. Bitcoin, the clear leader in that, Bitcoin officially surpassing Google as the 5th largest asset in the world by market cap. That was probably earlier this week due to both Bitcoin pumping as well as the traditional markets dumping, shifting those around there. That top 6 has slowly shifted as Bitcoin has been climbing the ranks. I think it knocked off Amazon the other day. And then, just earlier this week, knocking Google off for the top 5 spot there. So, good.
Yeah, I was going to say that on the ETF flows, we saw one of the strongest weeks in 12 months. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I think we all been talking about it for a while now. I think BTC will overthrow everyone else, and it will be.
Here's what happened.
Nice.
Michael Saylor with the space on a Bitcoin surfboard. That's what we needed.
Well, we have a new Michael Saylor in town. Tether and the gang established a new competitor.
Yeah, Jack Mallers is, I believe, been brought on to be the CEO of the 21 Capital. Cantor Fitzgerald backed, Tether backed, a couple other big names a part of that. Jack Mallers, obviously a very famous OG Bitcoin maxi. So another bullish indicator, more buyers coming into the market this week, which is speculating some of the reasons behind this pump, being these guys buying, as well as GameStop, who has been talking about buying Bitcoin for a long time now. The speculation that this pump is being fueled by the $4 billion worth of Bitcoin that they've been looking to accumulate. Nothing official out on that yet, but obviously this type of talk, somebody's buying. These guys, BlackRock knew what these guys were putting together. BlackRock knows these guys are going to be coming in buying $4 billion, 42,000 Bitcoin. That people like that are going to front run each other. So whether it was GameStop and 21 Capital buying stuff up, or other people trying to get out ahead of them, who knows? But that's how you pump from 74,000 to 95,000 in under 2 weeks.
Yeah, and I've been talking like, hey, DCA on this level is like one of the most best things to do, and I'm very happy with my DCA. I'm quite a lot up for this year at least. I don't know about you guys, but I've been stacking up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty long, man. I'm all in at the moment, so I'm pretty happy.
I'm just glad I didn't sell the bottom.
Nice.
Bro, you never sell. Remember that. You have to be like Michael Saylor.
Never sell until
Never
Bitcoin's
sell.
$1 million, boys.
Even then, take it to your grave.
Yeah, no, I agree. But yeah, like all this bullish news, like constantly coming in, and I mean, it's sad for alts because there's not a lot of circulation going on, or a lot of money going on into alts. But I think we're seeing a change happen. I think that we're not investing anymore that much in memes if you don't include Fartcoin. But we're actually like starting to again see people valuing real businesses, real altcoins that have a purpose. So I'm really grateful for this.
Wait, you're not talking about Trump coin, bro? What?
Are you
I'm
trying to?
shorting Trump coin. I'm shorting that shit.
Are you trying to tell us that the long-haired hippie-looking Jesus dude who said meme coins were going to take us all to Valhalla, who was famous for 15 minutes, lied to us? He was wrong.
No way, no.
What was his name again? Murad?
Murad, must stop Murad.
Wait, where is he? He's been so quiet.
Well, he lost 80% of his portfolio value from $40 million down to like 8 million or something like that. It held the whole way down.
Oh, I mean, 8 million still a
Goal
good ticket.
posting. Yeah, but
I would take that 8 mil any day.
when you lose 80% of your portfolio value while bull posting all the way down and wrecking all of your followers and everybody that listened to you along the way, because you made one video where you paid to do an interview at Token or something like that.
Yeah, that was extreme greed. At that point, that was like where you should just like, anytime somebody comes out like that, like some guru or like some bullshit, like, oh, everything's always gonna keep going up. That's when you gotta just like sell everything. Like that. Like that kind of character comes out every cycle and they always fuck themselves over. And then they fuck everybody else over. And then the sad part is nobody ever learns. Like people just keep repeating the same mistake, keep following these same shitty people, and it's just nothing ever changes. So for me, like I'm like, I don't really care. I'm like, if you're dumb enough to like trust and follow Murad, you deserve to lose money. And that's it. Like, thank you. I got to cash in. I got to make some good trades, and that's it, Yeah,
I think people, you just can't, whether you agree with someone or not, you can't get so, caught up in what they're saying that you stop looking at, reality outside of that. When he first came out with that video, he made some good points about the meme coin market and how to pick, good tokens in this space. But when memes started to go down, and for month after month after month, up until I think last month, he was still bull posting about the meme coin super cycle, when he's down over 80% and has led all of his followers to ruin. And it hasn't been a couple weeks. It's been like 6 or 8 months He was talking about this in August of last year, right? It's been 9 months, and you're still bull posting as memes are down 90% across the board. Like the followers that went all the way down with him, yeah, I don't feel bad whatsoever. You just can't get that cult-like following where you obsess with someone to the point where you think they can't be wrong and ignore all red flags as your portfolio burns.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. It was like a cult. It's like that fucking, what is it, that LA Vape Cabal and those fucking guys too. Like that's the thing with these meme coiners. It's like you're either an insider or you're extremely lucky. Like that's it. There's no like skills. There's no like actual like material like anything. It's just literally you're an insider. You got into the contract early, or you got lucky by buying the right one ahead of people. That's it. There's no value.
That is until now, because now you can do 500x leverage on MEXC and all your problems can be solved. So you don't even need memes anymore. You can just turn
500x. No KYC. Amazing.
You could turn any coin can become a meme coin now with 500x leverage.
Yeah, I'm just thinking like who is actually using these products? Like there must be like a demand, like if they are going up for like 500x. I mean, Rollbit had 1000x, okay, but that's like a gambling website. That's like where you actually go and gamble. But like MXC, I don't know. Like this seems weird. Is this just a money grab or not? I don't know, but yeah,
could be a publicity stunt.
Yeah, but yeah, just for the audience, do not use leverage if you don't know what you're doing, and definitely don't use 500x. It's like one move and you're gone. Follow Andrew and his channel. He's been very good. Actually, a lot of people got into the sweet trade. I'm very thankful for that. Big shout out to Andrew. Good job.
Thank you.
But yeah, don't do leverage.
No, definitely wouldn't do 500x on that.
Don't do 500x leverage, but do In-N-Out Burger and help support them, bringing mass adoption to crypto. What tweeting out here on the 25th, which crypto should In-N-Out accept? What are your guys' overall thoughts on a lot of this stuff? To me is just super gimmicky. Like, of course, we would love to be able to spend crypto at places like, In-N-Out and things like that. But that's not the end all be all case for cryptocurrencies. I think the name cryptocurrency is a silly name because 90% of cryptos out there are not intended to be a currency. They have other purposes. Maybe it could be a speculative asset, could be a utility play, but it's not meant to be spent like a currency. So the people that are saying, oh, we need to be able to spend Bitcoin at McDonald's. If you spend your Bitcoin at McDonald's, you're a fucking moron. Like, it's an appreciating asset. Why would you exchange your fiat? You work and they pay you in fiat, which you then switch into an appreciating asset to go buy a consumable or a depreciating asset. Like, Bitcoin isn't meant to be used as the dollar. That's not the purpose of Bitcoin. So while some of this stuff is cool to see, major fast food chains, shopping malls, gas stations, whatever, adopting crypto, most of the time Bitcoin, it's not. To me, it's just a kind of a vanity metric. It isn't real adoption. And we're not using a tool that's been created by this industry, of which there are many that can help out a variety of different industries. But simply being able to go to Walmart or In-N-Out or McDonald's and pay by Bitcoin, that's not what's going to take this technology to the next level and really bring about real adoption and massive impact on a number of sectors.
No, I think this is engagement farming. I think they're trying to get their impressions up, and that's it. And just on your point, I totally agree. And we're living in 2025, and then I think there's a lot of different Visa cards that you can apply for. Like, what's the purpose here? Like, why should I use my tokens to buy anything on the burger front? I don't get it. I do agree with you. Like, engagement farming, that's it is. Obviously, very good. Hey, I can buy burgers with my BTC, but I could do that before,
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway.
Well, something that will have an actual direct impact on the markets, maybe in a good way, maybe in a bad way. Federal Reserve is scrapping its restrictive guidelines for banks that force them to get special permissions before touching digital assets. So this is going to bring. I'm going to assume this is not going to be the last that we're going to hear on the legislative or judicial fronts about banks getting involved with crypto, but this does open the doors for those discussions to happen and for products to start being creative where retail buyers can simply go into their bank or log into their online bank and access crypto services that normally they would need to use some sort of more Web3 native centralized exchange or something of that nature, which we all know the UX, UI, and the accountability and reciprocity of this industry are not always on point. So I don't know, what are you guys' thoughts on the TradFi system, getting its fingers deeper into the Web3 and DeFi industries?
Sucks. Wasn't crypto all about not having these institutions having their fingers in?
Yeah, I was thinking the same. I posted on the TF5 channel, like, hey, we went from like actually not having banks and now promoting banks. And I think Coinbase and other big like exchanges are now trying to get into a banking license. So
Yep.
we are basically going for like, hey, let's have everything decentralized. Let's be permissionless to be, again, hey, let's serve the banks. Obviously, like this is also good in a way because institutions can come in now with huge pile of money. We are definitely evolving as an industry, but then again, like it's always a two-sworded thing, right?
Yeah.
Street. Yeah. No, I see the good and the bad in this. I totally agree that this is not the ideal scenario we want. It goes completely against the entire ethos of Bitcoin and DeFi in general to be bringing these TradFi rails, the banking system, which this was all created to circumvent. But there's no denying at the same time, this brings a lot of attention and a ton of liquidity and cash in. So pros and cons to it. I think, and we mentioned this on Tuesday as well, we were talking about Coinbase. My thoughts on this and my kind of like long-term, I guess, positive outlook is that, part of this is on us as industry, as builders. We've created some pretty amazing tech with really shitty UX, UI that nobody can use. And so to expect masses.
Oh, I think we lost him.
Yeah, I think we lost him.
This guy.
God damn. We're
back. We're back. Lost it mid rant. The globalists are trying to hack our feed and shut us down.
You don't talk shit about central banks, guys.
Rule number one. Yeah, that's what I was saying. A lot of the onus is on us. As cool as DeFi is, the UX UI is absolute garbage. In most cases, it's too complex. People like my dad, who wants to invest in some of his retirement funds into crypto. It's not safe for him to come on and try and buy Bitcoin. He's more likely to just blast it off into some random wallet lost forever as he is to be able to put it on a ledger. And so it's natural that these TradFi industries, the Web2 industries, are going to come in and try and take that business. Of course, not only do they want that business, but they want to maintain control in the industry. However, the positive aspect I see of this is that technical, lack of technical acumen to be able to use these DeFi tools and our ability or having the time to create better UX, UI, better interfaces for the next generation. Like that's only going to be a hindrance for another 20 years, maybe 10 years. The younger generation, our generation, we're all a lot more tech savvy. They got kids growing up right now, first thing they put in their hand is an iPad, right? So, that technical acumen gap is going to be brought up quick. And then when you have the ability to choose between DeFi and AI tools that allow you to invest in crypto or going to the local bank, the young generation aren't going to choose these traditional rails. And the difference is that this is the first time in history where we have the option, right? There hasn't been a time in history where you can pick what currency you want to use to spend your money in. It's always been you use whatever the local magistrate tells you to, or they chop your head off. You don't really get a choice in, what currencies you use, how you go about spending it. It's really the bank and whatever local currency or gold that there was. So I think when we get past that technical gap, people will naturally choose the DeFi tools. Should we as an industry be able to get our shit together and build, some better tools and infrastructure for people to use. So I'm long-term bullish on this. I think all this does is this is the banks and the TradFi industry kind of, signing its own death warrant, but they're going to help onboard trillions of dollars into this industry and billions of people just in time for the tech to catch up, where we have the tech and the, people's education level to catch up. And at that point, why would you use these antiquated trash systems that we've had to use all of our lives so far when there's a better alternative out there? So long-term bullish on this kind of stuff. Short-term, obviously not ideal, but I think it's an important step in getting us to where we need to go.
No, that was a good rant. Amen.
trying to stay positive when we're seeing the TradFi goblins like the central banks start coming into crypto, and seeing people cheer that on and be like, think about how much money that's going to bring in. On one side, you're like, yeah, it might pump our bag short term, but like, it's really not a good sign for a long term of this industry. It's like, we were created specifically to fight these assholes. Now we're praising the fact that the Fed and the SEC and centralized banks and BlackRock are joining crypto and buying our bags. I don't know. It's tough pill to swallow.
No, I know.
Oh man. Well, what else do we have to talk about here today? Here we go. Here's a fun story. I guess we'll look at this chart first. April 22nd, 2024, Bitcoin just over 66,000, Ethereum just under 32,000, and Solana at $154.32. 1 year later to the day, Bitcoin looking pretty good, up at 90K. Meanwhile, Ethereum down almost 50%.
Damn.
And Solana down just under 10% there. Obviously, we've seen some pumps in the last couple of days. Alts recovering a little bit, but the old kind of flow chart, the money flow chart of Bitcoin into Ethereum, into top alts, into micro caps, that's been pretty much thrown out the window this last year. I think largely due to memes and other things like that. But how do we see this going forward? Are we ever going to get an alt season? Are we ever going to kind of go back to that traditional model, or is it just going to be these sporadic niche down mini bull markets that we've got to try and front run?
No, I think as long as BTC dominance is at 65 or 75%, I don't know. I don't see alt season really happening yet. I think there's a lot of talks about recession, a lot of talks about depression. Normal people don't have money. Obviously, like the biggest thing here is Ethereum. It's been such a mess. Like even the Ethereum Foundation at the moment, they're trying to figure out like what's the next move. And obviously there's Solana that was backed by FTX. But this is again, like, hey, if you DCA on BTC, you're pretty much good. Like, doesn't matter what year it is, it always goes almost up.
Well, I mean, what are you guys' thoughts on Ethereum overall? Have we finally found an Ethereum killer? Or is Ethereum the Ethereum killer? Or do we see a rebound? Does Ethereum?
I think it'll rebound eventually. I mean, Bitcoin and Ethereum have always been hand in hand in a sense. So, eventually he'll get his act together. And then maybe not. I mean, who knows? Like, that's the thing about this speculative market. You never know what's going to survive in the next, 10 years, right? Bitcoin might not even be around in the next 10 years. Who knows? Like, what if they all of a sudden start changing to something else, right? So the best lesson I learned was don't ever marry your bags, okay? We're in this game to make some money. And
don't say that about Bitcoin.
I'm just saying, don't marry your
I don't
bags.
care what you say. I will hold my BTC.
Well, the man with a Terra Luna tattoo has made a bet against Ethereum. Galaxy Digital selling 106 million ETH for Solana. What do you think of that move? If we're just looking at kind of the top alts, the top blue chips. What are your kind of top picks, your best options for those blue chips? Are you sticking with ETH, Solana, XRP? What do you think is going to run the hardest here throughout the rest of the year?
It's a good question. I think like this is my bet. I think Ripple, so XRP is going to be pretty good. They're so integrated into Trump's team at the moment and into the TradFi stuff that I think it's going to run pretty well. Sol is getting their own ETFs. There's a lot of talk about Sol getting our own MicroStrategy thing, and actually that came into news last few days. I think there was one company that is going to do the same thing as MicroStrategy is doing for BTC. Obviously, also there's a lot of people building on top of Sol, so that ecosystem is thriving despite all the memes. I think another, let's say, two black horses is going to be Ton, and another one will be Sui. I think these two will be running very hot. I think their ecosystems are quite dramatically better than anyone else. So I don't know. I think so. Just to recap, Sol is going to be running, Ripple is going to be running, Sui is going to be running, and Ton is going to be running. Ethereum, I think they're in a really bad spot at the moment. They need if to be a truth, I would kick out Vitalik. I would just kick him out and be like, hey, we need a new leadership team. And it's just a fact. They need to do some drastic changes to basically change the course.
Yeah, I don't disagree with any of that. I think the ideas of $10,000 Bitcoin this cycle are out the window. I mean, there's still a few diehards out there, but definitely not looking great. And I don't know what that means for the larger industry, outlook. Ethereum is just so ingrained in, it's still that's where the majority of the lion's share of liquidity is when we're talking about, L1s out there. Still where a lot of the whales are. People are very slow to change and move off of what they know. And it's changed a bit. It used to be something like 90% of all dApps and infrastructure was built on Ethereum. That's shifted obviously, but it's still the majority are built on Ethereum. I don't think it's something we want to see go away, but I don't see a return to the days where Ethereum has 80% of the transaction volume.
Yeah.
Andrew is quiet.
No, I mean, I honestly don't know. For me, I spread my risk pretty evenly across the board. So it's just whichever horse wins, right? So yeah, they're all the same to me. All this crypto, all this fucking assets, they're all shit to me. They're all going to trade the same way too. Yeah.
But yeah, just a note here, Ethereum fees are what, 100K a day now or even less. And their market cap is what, 40, I don't even know, 60 billion or something. Or is it more?
Let's see, 200 billion.
200 billion. Okay, so the revenue multiplier here is quite high, and someone that is doing M&A, this would be quite a red flag. But hey, obviously Ethereum has been there for a while. It's not going to go away. There's a lot of L2s built on top of Ethereum. I just think that they've been doing a lot of things that are basically eating their own fee and not really developing what they actually do.
Well, that just means it's about a 10x for when Cardano takes over as the main L1 and jumps to the market cap of ETH. So get your buys.
Indeed.
All right. Well, I think we got to wrap things up here at the top of the hour. I believe Andrew's got another place to be here soon. So thanks everybody, I guess, for tuning in. Bullish markets and green candles for the first week here in a long time. It's good stuff to see. We will be off next week with the videos for the most part, I believe. Jan and I will be in Dubai for token 2049. So if you're around, you want to come chat markets, you want to chat M&A, OTC, secondaries, or just say hi, get a picture. A lot of people always coming up to Jan at these conferences asking for pictures. So don't be shy. Well, come on up, say hi in Dubai.
Please like and share the video, and obviously, like anyone in Dubai, please come and say hello. We're trying to get more active on training stuff. Hopefully, we can give Andrew some more space so he can post more daily stuff on Telegram channels and so forth. Let's see. But yeah, hope you guys have a good week, good weekend, and stay safe.